Hi, my name is Josh Pearson. I'm a Toronto-based real estate agent, and today I'm going to be going over RECO's Working with a Real Estate Agent guide. So as real estate agents, we need to not only share this information with you, but we also need to review it, which is what I'm going to do right now. We are going to start out with 5 major points that we're going to be covering: working with a realtor, knowing the risks of representing yourself, signing a contract with a real estate agent brokerage, understanding multiple representation, and how to make a complaint. Agents in Ontario must be licensed and carry liability insurance. As a seller, an agent can help advise on market conditions and strategies, help market your home, and arrange photos, staging, video, provide referrals to professionals, attend home inspections and appraisals, advise on competing offers, and sharing content. They can help vet potential buyers, negotiate on your behalf, and guide you through the paperwork and details and more. As a buyer, agents can help with information on financing and potential tax exemptions, neighborhood information, permitted uses and zoning, best approaches for your offer. They can negotiate on your behalf and guide you through all the paperwork, and they can provide referrals to any required professionals such as lawyers or home inspectors. Some of the other benefits of working with a realtor: they protect and promote your best interest. Also, your agent has a fiduciary obligation and can't share your confidential information unless they legally have to. They also have to avoid situations that might affect their duty to you and tell you if that situation arises. Now, as a client, you have some responsibilities too, like being clear about your wants and needs, responding to your agent's questions quickly so they can better assist you, understanding the terms of your agreement with the brokerage, and the fun one, paying the fees you've agreed to, and I'll speak about this a little bit later on. Know the risks of representing yourself. If you are involved in a real estate transaction and you are not a client of a brokerage, you are considered a self-represented party. There are significant risks in doing this, especially if you don't have expertise in the area. You will likely be dealing with a buyer or seller who has the services of an experienced agent. RECO recommends you seek independent professional advice before you proceed as a self-represented party, where you need to navigate through the process without the help or advice of an agent, dealing with things like zoning and permitted property uses, figuring out the value of a property and how much to pay or accept, dealing with competing offer situations, terms and conditions, and preparing all the documents. Remember, as a self-represented party, the agent is working in the best interest of the other party and has a legal obligation to act in their best interest. The agent is obligated to share any information with their client which might benefit them, including your motivations, how much you're willing to pay or accept, or any other information you share with an agent that does not represent you. The agent cannot provide any services or advice, encourage you to rely on them, or discourage you from representing yourself or going with another agent. They can, however, help you in any way that furthers the best interest of their client. If at any time you change your mind about being self-represented, you can become a client of a brokerage and be represented from there. When working with an agent, you need to sign a buyer or seller representation agreement. You should make sure you review the agreement and understand everything. The agreement should describe duties and services, rights and responsibilities, payments, and other details such as how long the agreement is for. The scope of the agreement should also be specified. If you choose to be represented, you can pick between brokerage or designated representation. With a brokerage representation, you can still designate one main agent to work with, but your information and motivations can be shared with anyone in the brokerage, and any offers coming from any other agent within the brokerage would be considered multiple representation. With designated representation, you can designate one or more agents to represent you. This reduces the likelihood of multiple representation. The brokerage and the other agents will treat you impartially. You can be as specific as you like with the scope of your agreement, detailing things like address, area, or type of property, but the scope should be specified. You can even work with different agents as long as none of the specifics of their contracts overlap. You should confirm this before entering into a second agreement. There is no standard set of services. Your agent should be able to discuss your options and document your expectations in agreements. Fees are not fixed or approved by any authority. Discuss and document the fees involved in working with your agent, including any potential discounts. Whether you're a buyer or a seller, your agreement should clearly indicate compensation to your brokerage and the cooperating brokerage, including discounts. As a buyer, this is important. You might be responsible for some of the commissions if the seller doesn't pay for them. Discuss this with your agent. Check your termination provisions, including any costs that might be involved. Two important situations might be in multiple representation. If a party does not consent, then the representation agreement can be terminated, or the brokerage may ask to appoint a different agent. Or if you have a designated representative, you would need to agree to work with another agent. The brokerage cannot assign one. There is no required set length for a representation agreement. Speak with your agent and determine a time frame that works for you. Keep in mind the holdover clause, which is there to protect the brokerage. There's no set time frame for the holdover clause, which may keep you financially obligated to your brokerage in some cases. As an example, if you see a home with your agent, but buy that same home independently or with another agent after your agreement expires, but still within the holdover period, you may still be responsible to pay the brokerage commission. The same is possible if you sell your home after the listing agreement expires, but while still within the holdover period. Multiple representation is important to understand. Basically, in a brokerage representation, if two agents from the same brokerage are involved in the same transactions, they are deemed to both be privy to your information. In designated representation, if the agent represents more than one party in a transaction, it is also multiple representation, but the other agents from the brokerage would not create a multiple representation situation. To proceed, you need to consent to this, and you might want to consult independent advice from a lawyer or another professional. Agents have a duty to promote and protect your best interest. If you end up in a multiple representation situation, there are some potential risks, such as the agent must treat all clients in an objective and impartial manner and cannot promote your interest over the other clients. The agent can no longer offer advice to either party about things like how much to offer or accept, or which terms to include. Before agreeing to multiple representation, the brokerage is required to provide a written disclosure that explains how the brokerage's duties will change and any changes in costs. Until this is explained and accepted by all clients, the brokerage or agent cannot take further steps. Any confidential information you shared still cannot be shared without your written consent. As I mentioned earlier, you can refuse multiple representation as it reduces what the brokerage can do for you. Ask your agent about alternatives. Moving on to multiple offer situations. A new change allows sellers to disclose certain details of offers in a multiple offer situation. Your agent will advise you based on your individual situation. Personal or identifying information cannot be shared. As a buyer, you can choose whether to participate in a situation where your offer details might be shared. Your agent can take you through the steps of how to avoid this, but the seller can choose to share details without advance notice. Brokerages and agents are accountable for their conduct. If you have a concern, the first thing to do is contact your brokerage. This page shows you how to search for the brokerage and the broker of record, the person responsible for ensuring the brokerage complies with the law. Often, they can help you mediate or resolve your complaint. You can also contact RECO directly to file a complaint. The process is described on their website. RECO will then review the issue and determine how to deal with it. This information can be found on page 11 of the guide. So there's the explanation of the guide overall. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out or put them in the comments. If you are in the market for a home in Toronto, looking to sell yours, looking for an appraisal, or just someone to speak with about the process, feel free to reach out. Other than that, best of luck with all your real estate adventures and have a great day.